Hi, it's State Representative Jim Walsh here in my office in Olympia in a very busy September with a lot going on here at the Capitol, and I'm going to talk about one thing in particular that's been in the news just lately. Just this week, the U.S. Department of Justice has sent a letter to our State Secretary of State requesting a large amount of voter information from the state of Washington. The letter from the U.S. Department of Justice was signed by Harmeet Dillon, head of the Civil Rights Division for the U.S. Department of Justice in D.C. She has requested of our Secretary of State, Steve Hobbs, in his office, a large data dump, a lot of information from the state of Washington, particularly on registered voters and their identities. The letter that Dillon sent to Hobbs goes into some detail, saying that the Justice Department in D.C. is concerned that the state of Washington may not be complying with federal election integrity law by checking, essentially, doing quality control or due diligence research on the registered voters in the state of Washington. So this is a controversial subject. Washington has long been dogged by concerns and skepticism about how well our state government vets and checks registered voters. We have in Washington state automatic voter registration, AVR, sometimes known as motor voter law. I've spoken to you about this law before. It allows people to be registered to vote in Washington very easily, perhaps too easily. And anytime you go to get a driver's license or go to many state agencies to seek state benefits, apply for state benefits, you are automatically registered to vote in Washington unless you affirmatively say, no, don't register me, which many people don't do. So there's a question, are registered voters in Washington actually legitimate voters? Are they citizens? Are they citizens in good standing? Are they able legally to vote in Washington? And who's responsible for making sure that people who are registered to vote are legal voters? There's a lot of confusion about that in Washington. The State Secretary of State's office has long held that it's the county auditors in the 39 counties who are responsible for checking. The county auditors say it's the State Secretary of State who's responsible for checking. The nature of the letter from Harmeet Dillon at the United States Department of Justice is trying to get a clear analysis of the voter database in Washington state and do a due diligence check to see that the people registered to vote are in fact legal voters. It is a matter of transparency to examine how Washington state manages its voter registration process. Election integrity has been an issue that we've debated and discussed here at the Capitol in Olympia. Recently, Senate Bill 5014, a bipartisan effort to create some levels of transparency and accountability in our processes, passed both chambers of the legislature by unanimous or very nearly unanimous votes, and I was someone who supported that Senate bill. It's been an issue and will continue to be an issue probably as long as we have elections. I believe that the letter from the U.S. Department of Justice is well-intended and encourages transparency and good reform if necessary. The Secretary of State was given 14 days to deliver the information to the U.S. Department of Justice, and we'll know more in a few weeks whether or not the Secretary of State delivered the information. An issue we will be talking about for weeks and months to come. That's it for right now. Be well and stay strong.